going to record. All right. What? You got your homework? Okay. Are y'all? Okay. I already gave a spiel to my first two periods, which are 7th and 8th grade. About like, oh, y'all need to work on your organization. Yeah, okay, you got it. I'm getting 6th. Okay. Okay. But I was like, oh, organization. Everything's about organization. Like if you can organize your locker and your homework and your book sack and your binder, like everything's gonna be so much easier. And it is true. But I mean, you guys already know that. It's not like something you don't know at this point. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, Katie.
I tried my best and I did the
Yeah. So why did you bring it in? That was the whole point. Audrey. Was it?
Today's my last day.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of didn't do homework.
Well, I guess I don't really blame you because you're not gonna be LTA at all. All right. Well, we'll miss you, but yeah, this is the year for people to be either coming in late or like leaving at the beginning of the year.
I'll leave right now.
Crazy year. This is your last day too.
No, I would.
Oh well.
Wow.
Well, anyway, sorry to hear that, Audrey.
Because of Keaton.
Now Andrew's gonna use your computer. All right. So remember, guys, vocab quiz tomorrow on the words that were showing up in your homework. So that was an incentive to do your homework. So look at the words that I will quiz you on tomorrow. It'll be 10 words. It's chapter 21. That is on page 171. Don't forget our declensions, our endings. Y'all are 1 week away, maybe a week and a half. Yeah, a week and a half from getting the 5th and final declension, the orange ones you see here. And once you have that, you just got all the declensions. It's great. So next week we might do the template thing again at the beginning of class where we fill out our noun endings to start out the class.
Giving the green ending. You already have the orange.
Green. Yeah, orange is there. Yep, green. Is it green on there? Oh yeah, so this matches that mostly for the most part. Yeah. All right. And then these verb endings that we practiced last week. Yeah.
Have you seen like a black notebook?
No, we still have the lost and found going, and I tell people when they find things in desks just to leave them in there because usually that's the best way to get it back to the person. So no, I have not yet. I'll keep an eye out. All right, remember these blue endings, these perfect active endings we practiced last Tuesday from chapter 12, something we're still kind of struggling with a little bit, those perfect endings that get attached to the third principal part of the verb. And the purple pinkish endings are present passive. So it's present passive, like I am verb, you are verb, it is verb. And the reason I don't put perfect passive up here is because that's just the fourth principal part of a verb plus sum esse. So it's like if it's a laudo, laudare, laudavi, laudatum, it'd be laudatus sum, laudatus est, laudatus est, laudatus sumus. That'd be I have been praised versus I am praised, which would be laudor. Yes? Yeah, good job. All right, so let's get started on the homework. Who can read number 1 in Latin? Bailey? Good. Remember, guys, out is just like or. Just or. We have these new conjunctions that are probably going to throw us off a little bit, but they shouldn't. Atque and ak is just and. Out is just or. What, Katie? I guess. Bailey, what did you get for this? Yeah, it's really good. Did you say like will not be touched? Could. Ooh, very good. Okay, it sounds like that's almost perfect. Really good. Okay, Keaton, what's the subject here?
Spirit.
Yeah, first noun is the subject. What is AS? Do you remember what AS translates to or what case it is? You know? What's AS? AS shows up a lot. We should know that one. Parker? It's just like his or her. It could be either. You can just choose his or her. So it's not just the spirit. It's his spirit or her spirit. And then we see pecunia, out cupiditate. On y'all's, is it pecunia with a macron?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because it should be. So once we see that macron, we know that we're not looking at it in like more nominative stuff. That's gonna be something else. What case is pecunia out cupiditate, Carly? What case are both of those two? Good, yeah, they're both ablative. So cupiditate is the third declension ablative. Pecunia is first declension. So it's just something about like money or desire or pleasure. I get cupiditas mixed up with I get mixed up. But I think it's like pleasure. Fructose, fourth declension. Who could tell me what 3 cases fructose could be? Caden?
It's like nominative, genitive,
Or accusative. Yeah, amazing. It's either nominative plural or genitive singular or accusative plural. What do we think it is? Bailey, what did you treat it as? Accusative. I feel like you treated it like genitive. How did you translate fruit in your, like, how did that show up in yours? So you kind of like, that must have been the only word you didn't really kind of mess with. Carly, what case do you think it is?
Genitive.
Yeah, I think it's actually genitive. Why do I know that? Because of Tongi, actually. Chicken person is telling us Tongo Tonga means to touch. So what is Tongi here? What's going on with it? What would we call it? Carly?
I don't remember, but he told us
It's yeah, so yeah, we've definitely mentioned this week, Lucy.
it's like an infinitive.
It's this passive infinitive. So that's important. We've had infinitive since day one, but only in the recent chapters have we got passive infinitives. It's kind of hard to tell. I wouldn't blame you guys for thinking it was like perfect active first person singular, but that would be Tonga Tonga. That would be this one has a really weird third principle part. So that would actually be I have touched. This is to be touched. And we should be expecting an infinitive anyway when we see our good friend Posse the possum hanging out here, which is what tense. Bailey knew that it was what tense? Not, wait, you said imperfect? Yeah, awesome. It's imperfect. So that's like was not able is the best way to do that, or could not. Could not is actually the very best way. Isn't that how you did it? So could not is perfect for non-Potterat. So his spirit, and then we kind of skip over those ablatives briefly and the genitive. His spirit could not be touched. So if it was Tongra, it's like could not touch. If it's passive infinitive, it could not be touched. Mostly third and fourth conjugation passive infinitive verbs, they're just going to look really small. It's going to be like the first syllable or two of the verb and then a long I. And hopefully that is enough to clue you in. And you might be in a position where you're like expecting it. We're expecting it because of possum. We know possum takes a complement infinitive. It has to. So could not be touched. What? What about pecunia and cupid? How do they come into the equation now? Could not be touched. Ablative of means. Yeah, so could not be touched by money or the desire of fruit. That's the sentence. I'm looking at fructose again to remember, because it's like literally fruit, but it can also be profit or benefit or enjoyment. So maybe profit would be a better way to translate the desire of profit. Yeah, that sounds a little better. So yeah, again, it can be like literal fruit, or it can be the way we like how people talk about like, oh, this business proposition is very fruitful, or like the new business I opened has been very fruitful. They don't mean that they're actually getting fruit from selling things. They mean they're getting like money. Yes. Okay, there we go. So this one really isn't too bad. I don't know what would really throw people off in this one other than the fact we have the passive infinitive there. That is kind of new, and it's kind of hard to spot. It's not that hard to spot. All right. Number 2. We're going to read number 2. Oh, this one's real chilled out. This one's easy. Someone should just translate this one. Luke, thank you. Yeah, Cintier Bator. Chicken Boy is telling us omni is it's from omnis, a third declension ablative, here it's ablative, but you might think it's dative, but third declension adjectives are not like third declension nouns. They don't get the E in the ablative, they actually get an I. So I'm kind of tempted to add an word I here. So it's not just dative, it could also be ablative. It's either dative or ablative here, is what Chicken Boy is trying to tell us. So Luke, do you have a translation or not really? Yeah. Okay, and then maybe we'd hear from Lucy too. What did you get, Luke? I just need to hear this part after love of the country. Love of the country what?
The love of the country used to be felt by every spirit.
Used to be felt. Yeah, used to be felt works. That's a that's the imperfect translation that we never use. Imperfect, I'm telling my younger kids right now, it's like was or were verbing. I'm keeping from them the fact that it could actually just be verb. But then there's a third option. It could be used to verb. So used to verb works. Used to be felt. Yeah. Good job. Lucy?
I thought the love of the fatherland
Was sensed by all spirits? So that would be if there was no in there. Since there's an in, it's just gonna be was felt. What do you think? Yeah, in all spirits. Yeah. So this is actually not an ablative of means or agent, right? When we have a passive verb, which spoiler, this is passive, imperfect third person because it's Bachtor. You're expecting an ablative of means or agent, but you might not necessarily have one. Here we just have like an ablative of place where. It's like an abstract place where it's the spirit of a person. So yeah, love of the fatherland. Patria is genitive. Amor, love is the subject. Omni spiritu is ablative. It's not ablative of means. And then was felt or was sensed or used to be felt is the way to do sentier Bachtor. So remember, we got to whip out was or were to translate an imperfect passive, and then we need it to be verb. But you got to have that helping verb to make it passive. Otherwise, it'd be like love sensed or love felt. That would be perfect active. This needs to be imperfect passive. So it was felt. We're feeling pretty good about the passive voice. Okay. So I got people when I ask for voice, they're like, "What is voice? What do you mean, active or passive?" And I would say that every time I ask about it on a quiz, the answer is probably passive. But that is not the case once we get to chapter 23. Next chapter is just fifth declension. Chapter 23 is these things called participles. And everything's going to get really exciting after 24. It's going to be sweet. Or 23. Who can read? Number 3. Okay. Eaton, thank you.
Sapientia et virtua certa in hominibus, stultus non in.
Good. Did you get something for this?
Certain truth and wisdom will not be found by the foolish man.
Oh, so you did the same thing Lucy did. You're almost totally right. I'm kind of liking that y'all are doing that. Y'all are like assuming the ablatives are ablative of means, but don't do that to the detriment of like seeing that there actually is a preposition. It's only when there's no preposition in a sentence with a passive verb that you whip out by. But anyway, you're totally right. Other than that, will be found is perfect. Lucy, did you have something? Pretty much the same. Yeah. So it's wisdom and certain truth. Will be found. This is future passive, third person singular. In or will not be found in foolish men. In foolish men, not by foolish men. It would be by foolish men if this wasn't here, or more so if there was off or ob. You probably would have the off or ob for an ablative of agent. But anyway, pretty good job. Yep, we just got ablatives there. That's all that's going on here. Pretty easy. Now, what letter kind of gives away? Like, so hopefully y'all see this and immediately are like getting used to being like, oh, that's passive. That's not one of our active endings that we learned for like 15 plus chapters. That's passive. And then what letter tells us it's future passive instead of just present passive? Lucy? The E, yep, because it's a dumb invenio and venire. It's a fourth conjugation verb. I shouldn't call it dumb, but I don't know why third and fourth conjugation verbs have to be annoying. They are though, because the present would be inveniuntur, I-U-N-T-U-R. So you see that E, and you can also somehow magically, super impressively remember that the verb is third or fourth conjugation, which is asking so much. Then you should think, oh, the E means it's future tense. Sarah?
L-A-T-V-I-A-N.
It says L-A-T-V-I-N? V-I-N? That means Latvian. That's like oh, no, that's a different language. Your own dictionary? Don't use Google Translate. It's like nonsense. Use Wiktionary.org. Trust me, for real. I'm like actually trying to help you. It's like not even like a thing where a teacher's like, no, don't use this. It'll be too helpful. No, Wiktionary is helpful. Google Translate is nonsense.
Google Translate is stupid. Google Trans, like dictionary never works for me. Like I get on it, it just says page cannot be found.
All right.
Everything I have.
Let's take a second here, real quick.
Which one is here?
No,
Yeah.
Like I write, I literally wrote it down. Like it'll like come up as like dictionary.org, and I got it, and then it just says page up.
Check it out, Sarah, because this is something all computer kids can use too. I pull up Wiktionary, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to like use my notes or whatever. I want to just like find out what is going on with this verb in Winnie and tour. I type it in. I just type it in. I don't like go to like one of these up here. I click the magnifying glass, and then it says third person plural future passive of Inwenio, and I'm like, wait, but what does the verb even mean? I click on it. Oh, it means to find, discover, and I got to find out exactly what it was. So people can abuse Wiktionary like it's a crutch. I know I did when I was learning that. No. And when you type in whole sentences to Google Translate, they are never right. That's not something like,
They are
no, they're not. They really aren't. That's not just me as like a lab teacher like trying to keep you from cheating. It's actually true. It's like Google Translate, they can't handle grammar. They can handle single words. I guess you could use Google Translate for single, even then, yeah, like not necessarily. Anyway, I'm okay with Wiktionary. I like Wiktionary. Use it on your homework if you want. Computer kids, use it all you want, I guess. I think.
Teacher ever.
Yeah. Okay, number 3. Who can read this one, Big Bert?
Where's Etienne?
Yeah, good. What'd you get for this?
Virtue isn't obtained even by lots of money.
Even by lots of money. Good. Yeah, that's good. Obtained. That's an interesting way to take parator, but that's okay. Did you find that in the book that para can be obtained?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because we usually just do para parare as to prepare, but I mean it kind of works out. At least in this context, obtain is pretty good. Para parare, prepare, provide, and then semicolon get or obtain. Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't actually know that. Yeah, so obtain works here. But the important part is how we're translating. This is just go to present passive. So it's is prepared, right? Ignore the not because I mean that's part of it too. But is prepared is how we take parator. Not prepare, not prepared, but is prepared. You got to get that helping verb in there and then make it look kind of like simple past tense. And that is how you achieve the passive voice, so that it is happening to the subject, which is virtue. Also, because we're focusing on fourth declension a little bit on and off these past couple chapters, don't get confused when you, like, this is a macron I wish wasn't even there, and I probably wouldn't type it if I was, like, typing a quiz or something, because this is third declension, veritas, virtutis. So this is not the same as the fourth declension macron US, where it's nominative plural fencing or accusative plural. This is just nominative singular. So that's kind of confusing, potentially. Yeah, so I guess words like veritas, tempus, and corpus. So third declension nouns that end in US in the nominative. It's a long US, but it's not the fourth declension US. So gotta love that. Yeah, prepared by much money. So this is ablative of what, Parker? Yeah, it's means, okay. Because money's not a person. It'd be ob if it was ablative agent. This is the first ablative means we've seen, which is surprising given that we have so much passive voice this chapter. Yeah, they're using prepositions like in the first two so that we avoid the ablative means. All right, these are pretty straightforward. I bet people who didn't do their homework are wishing they had because some of these are really easy. This one's got a lot going on, though. This one is trying to look impressive and difficult, but it's actually not. Who can read it? You didn't want to read it?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you wanted to read last time. Cammy, thank you.
Spiritus auditoris, we hike, scripted, de abus, mortalibus,
Yeah, Tongue Bator. Good. Cammy, I assume you probably don't quite have a prepared translation, but where can we divide this thing up at least a little bit? It's less of like that we're dividing it up and more that we have a certain kind of clause. Not a Santa Claus, but a Carly? Oh, good. Where does the relative clause start? You're not sure? Really? Where did you know that? Was that Lucy? Yeah, qui, and then so, and this really is important to do this, is to like either draw a circle around the relative clause or like a box or something. And what does it go to, Lucy? Qui, maybe hike to. Yeah, I'm going to go until I see a verb. And then I see that verb, I'm like, okay, that's my relative clause. All the rest of it is main clause. There's a big compound object here, deisque What does deisque mean, anyone? By gods and goddesses, and not just that it's immortal gods and goddesses. So I'm just trying to say, like, this isn't as big of a sentence as it's trying to look. It's trying to look like it's this huge sentence. Well, you just got something about immortal gods and goddesses down here, and we got a relative clause in the middle. That's throwing everything off. So the subject is probably what, Addie? Yeah, spiritutus, another third declension noun that technically has a macron US, but a third declension is not the fourth declension one. So it's the spirit what? What is Octorus? It's like J.K. Rowling or Tolkien or author. In what case is it, Parker? It's genitive, because if I say it's from Octorus, that's our third declension genitive right there. So it's the spirit of the author. And then, we're probably going to learn a little bit more about the author or the spirit. I'm not sure which one, because we have a relative clause that's going to expand on one of those things. So the spirit of the author, qui? Parker? Who? Who? Yeah. Who's probably good. But we could probably also use which or that. It's kind of like, because if we're talking about the author, it's who. It is the author. So either one. You can use who, which, or that. The spirit of the author, who? Well, let's use who. And then what's our verb? Screepsit. What is screepsit, Cora? Spirit of the author who?
Script who writes.
And it's not screeb it, so it's not writes, it's
Wrote.
Yeah, because it's perfect tense. The spirit of the author who wrote Ike Carmina? Yeah, good. These poems. That is plural, so that's important. That's plural. Carmen Carminus is neuter. So who wrote these poems? And then we have the rest of our sentence. Do I have some of that without giving all of it away? Nope. Well, we obviously know ad deis deabisque immortalibus is an ablative. We can't really go more than two sentences without saying ablatives. They're ablatives. Saife tongebatur. How should we translate tongebatur? This is the second time we're doing a passive version of tongo tongera. Yeah. How should we take tengabatur? Parker?
Was often touched.
Yeah, was because it's imperfect passive, the BA. That should be really easy to spot at this point. Often, Saife touched because it's passive, so we need the was and the verb to make it passive. Was often touched. Who was it touched by, Caden? It was touched by immortal gods and goddesses. Yeah, good. So that would be an ablative of. Anyone out loud? But gods and goddesses are kind of people, so
Agent.
it's actually agent, yeah. For the Romans, they're people. Yep, so this one's not bad. It tries to look hard, but it's not. Who is better than witch, honestly? Spirit of the author, witch. Like referring to a spirit as witch. Or no, it's the author. So yeah, it's almost ambiguous, but the antecedent of this relative clause, it should just be the author. It was the author who wrote the poems. So let me change that to who. All right, well, we got like one more. Okay. Good. So all these passives, the only ones that have been kind of hard so far is the one that was future tense. Even that one wasn't that hard. Oh my gosh. Is this the last one? Is this 5 or 6?
6.
Okay, that's good. We're making really good time. Who can read this one?
Didn't we do 6 already? No, we haven't.
We did a 6, yes, but it was like a 6 from another set of sentences yesterday.
I thought it was the same one.
Wait, Audrey, you want to read this one? Go ahead, read it. Good, good pronunciation. Is there Latin at the school you're going to?
I'm actually going back to homeschool.
Oh, okay. Latin is kind of hard to teach in homeschool, but well, you'll get the chance to do a little more Latin if you ever feel like it. It's pretty much every college has a Latin in their foreign language department. Kind of. A little rare nowadays, not really. So obviously we can split this guy into 2 chunks. I see a verb and then I see a comma. So and I see that it's large, so I want to split it up. Ubi, Poenis, Asperis, Eudicio, Regis. Okay, there's kind of a lot going on here already. What words go together? Keaton, what are some words that go together clearly? Our little Zoom thing is kind of covering up some information, but yeah, those go together. Let me underline them in green because I think you already know what case they are. You guys probably do too. What else goes, or is that it? Is there anything else we can lump together? There is something, but it's really hard to tell. What case is Regis? I don't think it is because it's like too far away. It'd be Reg Geese. If this is like normal IS, not long IS. Y'all can't quite see them with this macrons over these eyes. Is there outlet data plural? Well, what is it doing with Eudicio? It's not the same case as Eudicio. It might be. It's like Rex Regis. What case is Regis? Anyone? Genitive. So maybe it's possessive of Eudicio. We'll draw a genitive line all the way over. Okay. This is still kind of hard though. I'm not seeing a nominative, which is weird because I see our verb is third person singular. I would like a nominative. Maybe it's a dropped subject, says chicken person. So it's going to be like she or he. She or he, and it's not just S. The verb is what? The whole verb is what? Anyone? Is liberatus S. So he or she what? Liberatus S. What tense and voice is liberatus S? We've been messing with this voice all day, but we actually haven't messed with it in this tense. Lucy? No, you're just about to look at it. It's in the middle of that verb summary. It's perfect passive. We've seen a lot of present, imperfect, and future passive today, but this is the first perfect passive we've seen. It's the first one that's in two parts, so we know it's one of the perfect passives. It could be plural, future, but since it's S, this is just perfect. It would have to be erat if it was pluperfect, or erit if it was future perfect. So he or she what? Not freeze, not freed, not is freed, but was freed or has been freed. So what is ubi? Yeah, when or where. So when has she been freed? So what should we do with Poenis Asperis now? Maybe it's an ablative of separation. I'm separating the marker from the top. So she has been freed, not by, from harsh penalties. And then what is eudicio? Maybe that's the ablative of. Maybe that's ablative of agent, or yeah, kind of means. So freed from the harsh penalties by the, what does this mean? What is a judgment? I think I thought it was judge, but that would be
Judgment of the king.
the judgment of the king. Good. I think I need to fix that on mine. Judgment of the king. Not the judge. That would be eudike. Judgment of the king. Okay. So yeah, that one's kind of crazy. I'm gonna check our ablative summaries. For some reason I thought ablative of agent always got or ob. Weird. I should know that. Audrey. By a judgment. Yeah, no, that's right. And so he or she, and we can use was verbed or has or have been verb for perfect passive. It's up to you, honestly. I know that might sound confusing, but it's like you do have options for how you take the perfect passive. Yes, from harsh penalties by. Oh, I see what you're saying, Audrey. I mean, it could be a judgment, but maybe the sounds better. And then what? This part's fine. What is Kato Katara? Does anybody remember Kato Katara? Probably not. Yeah, to fall. So, and it's Kato Katara Kikiti. So what tense is that? Kikidit there? Sure. Yeah, it's perfect. So it's like, and then she or he has fallen or fell in Genu Dextro. What is he describing there? In Genu what is, do you remember Genu? It's our only neuter, huh? Yeah, so amount of knee, it's one of two neuter fourth declension nouns we have. Remember, fourth declension nouns, they just in elong you on all of the singular statics of the genitive, which is still US. But he fell in a knee, in a dextrum knee? What is that? What's going on there? Huh? Onto my work. Onto what, left knee or right knee?
Left, right.
Right. Yeah. So he fell on his right knee, or onto is fine. And what? Oh, this is weird. Y'all remember Ago plus Gratia? It's not
Thanks.
Cammy. Good. Give thanks. And this is what tense Cammy? Ago Agra Eggy. Perfect. So he gave thanks to the Regis, so to him. Yeah, we don't know the gender, but it's probably referring back to Regis. It's to him. And Iterum is our new vocab means again. Iterum will be on y'all's vocab quiz tomorrow. Yeah, that's weird. In chapter 22, they list all the ablative types, and they don't say that ablative agent shows up without a or a, but it totally is now. I guess that's fine. I thought like ablative of means was the thing that didn't need a preposition, but agent did need a or a. But here we have eudictio regis. There's no a or ob on y'all's thing, right? I didn't leave it out, did I? Weird. Okay, they're inconsistent about that in the textbook. Okay, so yeah, the weird thing about this, honestly, is to drop subject, but it's kind of crazy that we have two different types of ablatives right next to each other. Luckily, they're different numbers. We have a plural ablative, pointies, and then a singular one. So that's one way we can think that they're like doing something separate. But I mean, it's asking a lot of us that neither of them have a preposition spelled out, and we're having to just apply a from. Because once we know that our verb is free and something's being freed from something, kind of a lot to ask of us. And that we add by to the judgment. Lot going on here. And then like onto the right knee, like that's even kind of hard in a way. Remember, guys, keep this. And I should have said this beginning of class, but y'all need to like have taken really good notes on it because I'll probably choose 2 of these for your translation quiz next Thursday. So a whole week from now. There's almost no way you guys are gonna all keep track of it, but you should be able to. Really should. It's your 3rd year in this class, you know, or key. No, I was just doing that the first couple of weeks. I don't normally do that. No. We can do Quizlets. You're gonna buy me Starbucks? I think I pulled up chapter 21, did I? If someone brought me a vanilla bean every day, that would be kind of like I would probably have to give that person an A. No, not really. Oh yeah. Sorry. Well, you've been getting great grades without bribery, so 21. Let's look at the words y'all are gonna be quizzed on tomorrow. They're really easy. I could just pull it up. It's right down here. But it's right. Where is it? It's right there. It is. I could just click on that and show you. It's so easy though. It's just 10. All right. Tongo is what? The touch. Think of tactile. Just froze. Skio. We didn't see that in this homework. To know. It's kind of just like cogito. It's related to scientia, which means knowledge, like science. Relinquo. Think of relinquish, which is a very dramatic word for. It's something I'll do to y'all's homework all the time. You kind of lose. It's more like leave behind or abandon. Abandon. More verbs. Rapio. Look, I'm showing him the words and he's not even. It's kind of to take or to seize or to snatch. This one's on the quiz. I put it on the quiz. Also, irripio. Sometimes it shows up with an E in front of it and it's kind of different, but it means to rescue. Laboro. To work. Labor is a Latin word. Eubeo. To command. That's going to show up on the quiz. I'm just giving you all the answers. Confineo.
To go forth, to resume.
No, to contain. Yeah, so y'all were thinking continue yesterday. It's contain, right? Contain. Iterum. We get like iterate from it. Reiterate, huh? Again, or a second time. Atque. Yeah, it's just and or and also and even. Asper. Harsh. Olgus. Yep, or the mob. Wikina. What's this? Someone in the vicinity of your house would be a neighbor. Wait. Oh, and that's a male one. That's a male. Fun stuff. I did not put on the quiz. Sorry. Salutis. Oh, is it greetings too? Yeah, health. Oh, and greeting. Greeting makes sense because it looks like salveo. Okay. Novice. Ship or boat. Mundus. It's like, yeah, it's kind of universe, world. I don't know how to remember this. I don't think there's any related words. I don't think. Mundane, maybe. Because mundane means like common things. So maybe. I mean, I could look at it right here. It's right here. Gains Gintis. Clan, yeah. So don't get it mixed up with Gaius Generis, which is like origin, kind, or type. This is clan, race, nation. Mundus. Any related word for mundus? Mundane, yeah. Weird, because mundane means like boring things. So it's, I don't probably know how that's related. Fine. Think of finite. Yeah, end or limit or boundary.
Territory.
Yeah, because infinite is endless. Finite is it has an end. It has a limit. It's a boundary. But yeah, the plural is a little more like territory. Apparently, they can both, whether it's singular or plural, they can both be boundary. So maybe remember boundary. Same. Well, let's just see what they say for it. In, limit, boundary, or for purpose. Interesting. Oh, purpose as in like an end to a meaning. Yeah, windows, fenestration, causa. Called. What if it's in the ablative? It's for the sake of and. Okay, everyone's gonna get an A. Y'all have no excuses not to. All right.
There you are. You got like half of the word on here.